Nobody wants to get catfished by dating profiles or big wireless carriers with hidden fees. Your one true match? Visible Wireless. It's one-line wireless with unlimited data and hotspot for just $25 a month, taxes and fees included. Now that's a green flag. And it's fully digital, so you can switch as fast as you swipe. Tap the banner to learn more. Terms apply. See visible.com for plan features and network management details.
Amazon presents Jeff versus Taco Truck Salsa. Whether it's Verde, Roja, or the orange one. For Jeff, trying any salsa is like playing Russian roulette with a flamethrower. Luckily, Jeff saved with Amazon and stocked up on antacids, ginger tea, and milk. Habanero? More like habanero, yes. Save the everyday with Amazon.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys Breakfast Meal and Huntrix Meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Gearing up for Glasgow and looking ahead to LA. Well, I had been anyway. I'm John.
And I'm Michael, and this is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic sport podcast. We talk about the Olympics and the Paralympics and everything to do with them all the time, not just once every 4 years.
No time slot in the LA 28 ticket ballot for me. Congratulations if you got yours through gritted teeth.
More on that to come. I've got an idea. In better news, the countdown to Glasgow 2026 continues. We are joined in this episode of the podcast by Commonwealth Games multi-medalist Nile Wilson.
Yeah, looking back, it was so special to be a part of that movement, to be pioneers in the sport.
We'll round up the rest of the news from the Games, from the IOC, London Marathon, World Snooker and the boat race.
It is a perfect British sporting springtime, it seems.
And this is Anything But Footy. Download, listen and follow. We are gearing up for Glasgow and looking ahead to LA, or that's what the script says anyway.
Hello, John. Thank you for registering for the LA 28 ticket draw. Demand has been extraordinarily high, and you were not selected for a purchase time slot in this ticket drop. Thank you for your interest in the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games. We'll be in touch soon. The LA 28 ticketing team.
Well, that is a total and utter bummer. Can I just say that? I'm absolutely disappointed. I never got the chance in the first ballot. I did in Paris. I did in Milan. My wife, Carrie, was like, I can't believe you haven't got tickets. And someone WhatsApped me and messaged me saying, do they know who you are? Well, obviously not, because I am not there. Maybe it's because I'm not stateside, although I do know some friends who got the option of choosing Monday to Wednesday next week. So good luck to them. Now, the good news is, in all seriousness, there will be more opportunities to get LA 28 tickets, I'm told. Additional tickets will be released and will be in subsequent ticket drops. But I'm going to have to find another way of getting there. I mean, the LA 28 Games, I need to be there. I can't miss another Olympics. We don't know, like Tokyo or something like that, do we?
Well, I'm disappointed for you.
And
I'm disappointed for your family as well, because I know that it is a Cushing family trip when the major sporting events happen. Obviously, Tokyo was a bit of an outlier for reasons that we know and we don't need to go over. This reminds me a little bit of that massive rush we had to try and get London 2012 tickets. Do you remember the scramble to try and get tickets? I remember we put in for everything and anything. And me and my best friend, I've told this story before, agreed that whatever he got and whatever I got, we would share out. And he got the men's 100 meters final with Usain Bolt on the Sunday night, and I got handball quarterfinals. So...
But this is the fact that I haven't even just got the option. It's not as though I've applied, I've got my ticket, and I've just got this email, as we heard, saying, unlucky, you're not even on the list. I mean, congratulations to LA 28. If they have had that amount of people that are desperate to get tickets, it does show it's going to be a huge success, and it shows why I need to be there. That's my point.
Yeah, I think the size of some of the venues, I think there will be obviously more ticket releases races, as you say. And I do rather hope that you might get a pass, and I might get a pass too, and we might get someone to employ us to talk about the games as they're going on. But I'm sure we'll find some other way of getting you to LA 2028. We will come up with something.
Sounds good.
Now, my 2026 continues to be emotional, continues to be surprising, continues to be challenging, continues to be brilliant. All of those things. I got to go to Milan, as you know, for the Winter Olympics, covered the Paralympics as well. First time at a Winter Games in person. And you can read all about that. There is a blog on the website at anythingbutfooty.com. And then literally got back from that straight into the news that we'd secured the radio rights for the near 200-year-old university boat race, and that we were going to be supporting and working with Times Radio on that one. And I got to commentate on it for the very first time.
This is an event that goes way beyond the rowing enthusiast. London puts on its best on Boat Race Day, and the women's race is underway. The umpire, Claire Harvey, releases that flag, and what we will see now on the River Thames is these two crews. For these first minute or so, they will go out like an Olympic regatta. On that Middlesex side, worth about a third of a length for the Cambridge crew, so they have the advantage at the moment. They've had the faster start as well. The Oxford women's team, they are leading the boat race live and exclusive on Times Radio. Are up to the mile post with Cambridge just under a length in the lead. They're heading towards the railway bridge, the Barnes Bridge. The cheeks are being puffed out by this Oxford crew now, but they will know that finish line is not too far away for them. They are cheering them home past the Ship's pub now. They will deserve their pint of whatever they have tonight. And it's Oxford University who win the women's boat race. They finally put an end to that Cambridge dominance. It's Cambridge that win the men's boat race.
Michael commentating on the boat race at the weekend, the 2026 men's and women's races. Quite the moment, Michael, for radio history.
Yeah, I know you've done it before. A lot of people were making a big deal that this was the first time that it had left the BBC I think next year is the 100th anniversary of the first ever radio commentary. I think the first ever radio commentary was in 1927 on the BBC. That's not actually true, though, because you did it in 2005 to 2010 with LBC. And I know that it was always, you were the presenter in those days. I know it was always an event that you talked about and you always reflected on as being one of your kind of career highs, and quite rightly so. You won the equivalent of the radio Oscar for the best live sporting event back in the day as well. So, you know, it was something that I wondered whether I might get the opportunity to cover in person, but to be asked to be the commentator, the lead commentator for it was fantastic. And, you know, when you come back from the Olympics, as you do, you're often looking for what your next thing is, what your next high is. I've said this before, but you come down to earth when you stood in Milan airport looking at a screen and the word Luton, and that's your homecoming. So, yeah, it was fantastic. It went well, seemingly so. I know from Times Radio, they've said their audience for a bank holiday weekend was up a quarter to what it was normally on a Saturday afternoon. I've read that on LinkedIn this week as well. So, you know, that is fantastic for Times Radio. Fantastic for them to bring live sport and to bring all the fun of the festival around the boat race. They very much presented it as much more than just the sporting event, but the sporting event was very much in the centre of it. And we worked hard at it. You know, you produced all the pieces that went out during the week and some pieces that went out. The opener that Times Radio used on the day to begin their coverage that you made, which featured John Pienaar reading a poem written by William Wordsworth, all about how London and the river wakes up in the morning. And there's the Wordsworth connection there. His nephew Charles was one of the instigators of the original boat race. Spoke to a lot of the crews, didn't we?
Well, we did.
Got some advice and words of wisdom from the voice of the boat race, Barry Davis, who lives in Barnes, just can pretty much from his upstairs window see what's happening on the River Thames. So we worked hard at it, and the hard work, I think, paid off. It seemed to be a success, seemed to have gone down well.
And they say never meet your heroes, but I met Barry Davis in 2007, I think it was, maybe 2008, when he did the boat race, as you said, for LBC, and he came back and did commentary for us on the radio, which was incredible. But as you say, 20 years later, you got to meet him as well. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't be with you due to various things that were going on. We're both of us having an interesting 2026 off the podcast at the moment. But you got to meet him, and he is such a gent, isn't he? And that's what I love about him. He is everything you expected him to be.
Yeah, and thank you to his son Mark, who sorted everything out for us and arranged for that chat that Times Radio had with Barry Davis. I went to his house, which I said is in Barnes, so you can pretty much see the river from where he lives. And yeah, it was just brilliant to spend an hour or so in his company, reflecting on the boat race. We had a big chat about lots of other things. He was very disappointed when the BBC lost the rights to the boat race to ITV as it was, and he was very, very happy to come back and do it with you for LBC, and he remembers that really, really fondly. And his house is just this amazing treasure trove that you would imagine from someone that's had the career that Barry Davis has had. He's got his own little sports personality of the year trophy. He's got a lot of his accreditation passes and his cuttings on display as well. So yeah, just great to have some time with him. I'm a big fan. I told him I was a big fan. And he gave me some good advice on doing it. But he also just said to me after the interview, we'd recorded the interview, and he just said afterwards to me, he said, "I think you'll be fine." He says, I can tell you're a broadcaster. And then what was particularly special was that I got a couple of messages via his son after the event as well. So he said to me, "Oh, I'll be listening. I've got the Times Radio app on my phone. I'll be listening." And lots of people say that, but you don't actually expect them to actually then go ahead and listen. But he sent me a message, as I said, via his son during the coverage, which was complimentary. And then he sent one afterwards saying how chuffed he was that I'd given him a mention as the two crews went past Barnes. And it was interesting, the TV commentary as well. Barry Davis got a mention. I've watched that back on Channel 4, and Alex Shax, who's most usually known for F1 commentary. There was a camera shot of one of the members of the crew etched pain on his face. And Alex said, well, to quote the greatest voice of the boat race, "Look at his face, just look at his face." So that just goes to show, I think, the esteem that Barry Davis is held by those of us that have come after him.
And an Olympic commentator as well, because my favourite quote, and I got him to do that for LBC, I got him to redo some of his famous quotes for some of the promos and stuff that we used when we announced he was going to be our boat race. And of course, the famous Olympic quote is, "Where were the Germans? Frankly, who cares?" from the 1988 Seoul Hockey Olympics when Great Britain won the gold medal. And that's one of my many treasured moments, speaking to Barry about all these great quotes. And I think you're absolutely right. The fact that interesting, very interesting, or look at his face, just look at his face, are quotes that you can just say and you know exactly. I can picture Francis Lee, I can picture Gaza, and I can picture Suwani and the Britain hockey teams in all those moments when you hear those quotes. It's quite an incredible thing.
And a complete coincidence, but we were walking down Barnes High Street afterwards and we bumped into Franny Lee's son. So
amazing, look at his face. Just look at his face.
Look at his face. Yeah, I always remember I know we're anything but footy. I always remember the Gaza one. That's boys' own stuff. He's going to have a crack, because as someone that grew up in that white half of North London, and that was a real historic 91 Cup semi-finals. It was the first one at Wembley. I mean, they're the norm now, but it wasn't in those days. And for Tottenham to beat Arsenal, go on and win the cup. He didn't get the cup final that year. He had to wait another couple of years. Got the cup final in the mid-90s, of course.
Well done to your coverage on the boat race. If you want to hear that interview with Barry Davis, it is on our socials and it will be on our website shortly as well. So keep an eye out for that. Now, in other news from the Games, World Snooker Championships are staying at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield till 2045, at least after a long-term deal was done with the City Council. Plans are in place for a long-term major refurbishment of the famous snooker site, adding 500 extra seats, and building work will start in 2028, with the championships being held in alternative venue for a short period. It'll be interesting to see where it goes during that short period. The Worlds have been held there since 1977, and this year's championships start April 18th, and Michael will be there as well.
Olympic champion 2023 London Marathon champion Sifan Hassan is out of this year's London Marathon. That's a shame because we always like speaking and hearing from her. The Dutch star has been hampered by an Achilles injury that she picked up 6 weeks ago, which has now impacted her training for the race on Sunday, April the 26th. And this comes as plans have been revealed for a 2-day London Marathon from next year to allow even more people to take part and become the biggest in the world. Now, not everybody has welcomed this news. Not everybody is happy with it, including some other marathon organisers across the country. And we will have a special podcast all about that coming up in the next few weeks.
It's going to be interesting. Now, our sporting spring so far, you mentioned it earlier, Michael, the boat race, done, ticked. London Marathon, World Snooker Championships. Sounds like you're living the dream.
And this weekend, I've actually got the weekend off, which means I'll be in front of my telly watching the Grand National and then in front of my telly watching the US Masters golf. So, you probably won't find me anywhere but in front of the telly Thursday through to Sunday night.
Sounds good. Sounds the perfect spring. And congratulations again for your boat race coverage. This is Anything But Footy. Other news from the Games and our Commonwealth Games multi-medalist Nile Wilson coming up. We're covering the Olympics and the Paralympics all the time. This is Anything But Footy.
Now, as spring becomes summer, we've got two big events to look forward to here in the UK. Birmingham staging the European Athletics Championships. Amazing to think that will be the first time this country hosts that event. Before that, the Commonwealth Games returning to Glasgow and the King's Baton Relay, which began at Buckingham Palace on Commonwealth Day in March. For the first time ever, every Commonwealth nation and territory will receive their own baton for these celebrations, and they've been asked to customise their baton to represent their culture. And all 74 of them will then be reunited at the opening ceremony of Glasgow 2026, where the final baton will be presented to the King and his message will be read aloud to declare the Games open. And for the first time, as part of the King's Baton Relay, Commonwealth Sport is partnering with the Royal Commonwealth Society to deliver the Commonwealth Clean Oceans Plastics campaign, bringing much needed attention to both ongoing ocean conservation efforts and interesting new solutions to plastic waste. Now, this campaign's aim is for athletes and communities to come together to prevent 1 million pieces of plastic from entering Commonwealth waters. And one man who knows all about what it means to take part in the Commonwealth Games. He has 9 medals in total, and he joins us on the podcast now. We say hello to Nile Wilson. And Nile, this is very much, isn't it, about the power of sport and what it can achieve beyond the field of play?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we get together for these huge events every 4 years, and they are kind of, I guess, the energy around them and everybody getting behind their nation and coming together through sport is such a special experience. But then to align it with this campaign for an amazing cause is absolutely fantastic. I've actually just seen the baton, which is made from plastic that's been found on the beach, and it's very, very impressive to say the least. Absolutely.
And it must be a big moment for the athletes when they see the baton coming into the stadium. It's the moment, isn't it, that signals that the Games are here, they're about to begin, and all your hard work, I guess, is done by that point.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Yeah, I mean, look, my Commonwealth experiences, I hold very dear in my heart, and you know that event in Glasgow 2014, which is a lifetime ago now, just an 18-year-old lad doing his first ever senior competition. It was completely career changing that whole week, and the first experience stepping into an arena full of 15,000 people. But you're right, when that baton arrives and the games start, that's it. And you just hope that you go out there and do your job. And I enjoyed every single second of that experience. And I guess it gave me the confidence to then go on to potentially do what I did in my career. So yeah, very special memories.
And Niall, we know the importance of the Commonwealth Games to some of the smaller nations around the country, in the UK, Wales, Scotland, even other nations in the Commonwealth as well. From a Team England point of view, it's still important that England are there as well, because everyone says, well, you can just go to the Olympics or whatever. But that's not the case, is it? Team England offers a real opportunity, and the Commonwealth Games offer a different opportunity to English athletes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right. It's going to Olympics, you're competing against the world, the Commonwealth nations, but it's still so important to go out there and it's so closely aligned as an experience to these multi-sport events and going to a major event. Like I say, it was the first time I'd ever competed in an arena with 15,000 people. That's not to be sniffed at. You still got to go out there and do your job. And yeah, it was maybe a little level of expectation that us as Team England, especially in the gymnastics, are going to take on the gold. We have been doing it for decades now, I guess. And but yeah, you're right. You've still got to do your job, and gaining confidence and pride from that experience is very, very special. And you feel the enormity of it still as an athlete when you're doing it. And it, that multi-sport environment, it does set you up extremely well for hopefully what's to come into the future.
And I know also you went to the Commonwealth Games at Gold Coast. Michael went as well. I mean, he mentions it a few times that he went. But how important is it that it's a home games this summer? That what's the difference between like a home games? I know it's Scotland, but it's a home games for the UK.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did Glasgow and I did Gold Coast. Both of them were very incredible experiences, but there's nothing like a home crowd. So like some of these athletes that have maybe not done a home Commonwealth, or it's their very first time doing a Commonwealth. The feel and the energy and the buzz and the support around every single arena, where everybody's supporting Team England, Team Scotland, Team Wales. That is such an incredible experience, and you really feel the support 100% when you're at home. It being in Glasgow, I think I'll never forget. We had quite a strong Scottish team at the time when we did it 12 years ago, and I think the roars were slightly louder for Scotland. So it's going to be nice for those athletes to experience that.
And do you think the experience that you had in Glasgow, as you said, huge crowd, aged 18, that was so beneficial then 2 years later when you go to Rio and you win an Olympic medal?
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I think it was a career-changing week for me, that Glasgow Commonwealth Games. I remember stepping out and the coach on the floor at the time asked me if I was all right, because I was first man up on floor. And he said I looked drip white, I felt sick. Just the enormity of it all. Anyway, I hit my floor routine, and then it felt like the rest was history from there. I felt and believed that I belonged in this moment, and I was born to do this. I was born to perform, and I could handle to walk out that whole week of I hit every single routine, did them all clean, came away with 4 medals at 18 years old. I was like, oh, I can do this. My gymnastics is there. I'm confident that I can handle the pressure and handle the moment. And yeah, I don't think without having that week in Glasgow, and being thrust into a team with Max Whitlock, Lewis Smith, Christian Thomas, Sam Oldham, these sorts of names that were absolutely, well, they still are legends in the sport, but I don't think I'd have gone on to do what I did. It just built so much confidence, and it was incredible.
We grew up in an era where we weren't used to seeing British gymnasts on the podium, certainly not at Olympic level. And suddenly, with the names that you mentioned there, Lewis Smith, of course, Max Whitlock, yourself, you were part of this big new movement. How do you reflect on that era and how it unfolded now?
It was insane. Something I don't think about much anymore. I've moved on to the next chapter of my life. But yeah, looking back, it was so special to be a part of that movement, to be pioneers in the sport. I think winners breeds winners. When you see Lewis Smith started it in Beijing, it was like, we actually, this is possible. And I was a young boy coming up through the ranks training. I watched the guys do what they did in London at just 16 years old. And when you're around and you're in that environment and you're around that success and you start to build belief, that's what creates something special. And we seriously had an insane environment. I know we still do now in the men's and women's British team for gymnastics. But once you believe you're one of the best nations in the world at a sport, the results start talking. And yeah, to be a part of that whole journey and movement, whatever we're going to call it, was pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
And so you see Max Whitlock return. He was at the British Championships just a couple of weeks ago. Didn't quite go his way on the pommel horse in particular. The event moves on. I mean, how tough is it that the fact that he's decided to come back?
It's incredibly tough. He actually, I spent some time with him and caught up with him. I joked with I said to everyone after Paris that he wouldn't be done. So it wasn't a shock to me to hear that he was coming back. And he woke up and he cricked his neck in the morning, the British. So that kind of affected his performance last week. But I've seen him in the gym. He looks in some of the best shape of his life. So I'm like, fair play to him. At the age that he's at, I think he's 34 now, to just still be doing that level of gymnastics. And I think he loves the process of it. He loves the routine, and I'm sure we know he's the goat. He's the goat of British gymnastics. He's the goat on the pommel horse. So I'm sure he's going to have more success over these next couple of years.
Because it is so hard to step away when you've had the success that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, it is retirement's tough. It's something that I learned the hard way. I was sort of forced into it, and to come into peace was very tough. But even when it's on your terms, your identity for your whole entire life has been sports, has been gymnastics, it's been that routine, it's been the simple purpose of all I'm going to do every day is try and become the best, do everything to become the best gymnast in the world. Then all of a sudden you click your fingers, that's gone. And I guess finding the fulfillment in a life where you're still trying to discover who you are, especially without sport, is a very difficult process to do for any athlete. And I guess I'm passionate now. Having gone through my experience, it's taken me, I think I've been retired now 5 or 6 years. I'm still on the journey now, but I'm trying to discover who I am without being sort of validated as that champion gymnast and just being Nile. And it's been a big old journey, but I can sit here and say it gets better every day, and it gets better every year. And you just trying new things and trying to become more self-aware is really the answer. And then really connect with, we're still ambitious people and we want to build. And I'm sat in Nile Wilson Gymnastics and on that venture of inspiring the next generation. But it's really just about your connections, your relationships, the people that you love, and doing something that you enjoy to do. But when you've performed in the Hydro Arena at the Commonwealth Games and had those extreme highs, what follows maybe sometimes doesn't feel as good, I guess.
Last couple of questions then, just from me. Building on that, did you fall out of love with the sport and now you're kind of romantic with it again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we broke up for a little while. I think I remember when those first few major events started popping up on the telly, I felt resentment. I didn't want to watch it. I was annoyed or upset that I still wasn't doing it anymore, that I couldn't do it. All probably very normal feelings. But you're right. I think the first couple of years after me taking a step back, I was obviously still involved in the sport with my content, but I really struggled to watch. And then you kind of full circle moment. It felt like an elastic band. Like the further away I kind of pulled and then snapped back and realised, actually, like this sport changed my life, and it has been my passion since I've been 4 years old, and now I can watch with pride, and now I can watch and not wish that I was doing it. I'm far gone now. I would rather be sat in the crowd shouting and supporting. But yeah, I guess, and now having the experience in the Paris Olympics, moving on to this year's Commonwealth Games, just to be a part of the event from a broadcast perspective and support our team, England, Scotland, everybody, and the gymnasts that were the generation underneath me when they were growing up, looking up to us as seniors, doing what we did. So yeah, I love gymnastics, and I always will.
Yeah, a brilliant broadcasting career that you have built for yourself. I know you did the radio for Tokyo. I heard a lot of that and saw plenty of clips when I was in Paris of what you were doing on TNT. So you'll be back, and urging everyone to come and watch some gymnastics, get their tickets, or try and catch it on the radio or on the television with you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, these events don't come around often, and we all need to get behind our country to be a very small part of it. You may see my face if you turn the television on, and we can have a laugh. We can enjoy watching and supporting our nation. And still watching spectacular gymnastics. The level at the Commonwealth Games is still incredible, and see what we've got, strength and depth in the British team now, men and women. You're watching the best gymnasts the best gymnastics in the world. So let's celebrate it and let's enjoy it.
Well, you've got us excited again for the Commonwealth Games and for Glasgow as well. Nile Wilson, thank you so much for talking to Anything But Footy.
Cheers, fellas. Appreciate it.
So we're gearing up for Glasgow, looking ahead to LA, and more news from the Olympic Games and some sad news as well. The International Olympic Committee says with great sadness they learned of the death of the honorary member Sir Craig Reedie at the weekend at the age of 84. Reedie was IOC Vice President, had been President of the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, President of the International Badminton Federation, and Chair of the British Olympic Association from 92 to 2005. So he played a crucial role in London's successful bid to host the 2012 Olympic Games. For that, we thank him. And Dame Catherine Granger, who's the current chair of Team GB, remembers Craig as presenting her with some of her medals from the Olympics, and in tribute said he always fought hard for Olympic sport and fought harder still for clean sport.
Yeah, our thoughts with Sir Craig Reedie's friends and family. In other Olympic news, the big one over the past month, and we will talk more about this in the coming weeks. We're very much mindful, I think, on this podcast that we are two men. And we're going to be two men talking about something that's very specific, very delicate, and something which is very nuanced as well. At the end of March, Kirsty Coventry and the IOC confirmed that eligibility for any female category event at any future Olympic Games or IOC event, including individual and team sports, is now going to be limited to what they term biological females. And this will be determined on the basis of a one-time gene screening.
It's a very, very interesting topic, and we will talk about that, as I say, in a bit more detail when we can give it the coverage that it deserves. Now, in other news from the Games, World Athletics are set to create an annual marathon World Championships from 2030. So it'll no longer be staged as part of the World Athletics Championships after 2029, and men and women will compete in alternate years. So it'll be every year, but sometimes it'll be men, sometimes it'll be women. And hopes are high that Athens will stage the very first event, of course, where the marathon started. But quite, again, a new idea and different way of bringing athletics to the world.
Yeah, I think what this does, it opens up the opportunity to stage the World Marathon Championships to cities that otherwise wouldn't be able to because they don't have the facilities that they could stage all the other track and field events. So I think in particular, I imagine that what's gone on at World Athletics Lord Co is they want to try and get this event into many African cities, many African countries. Of course, we know about Ethiopia, we know about Kenya and their love of marathon running. So this gives those cities the opportunity to stage the Marathon World Championships where they wouldn't have had the opportunity to stage the World Athletics Championships in its current form. And we had him on the podcast a few weeks ago, the newly crowned World Indoor 3,000 meters champion, as we continue to talk athletics. Josh Kerr has confirmed that he will attempt to break the men's mile world record at the Navuna London Athletics Meet, which is part of the Wanda Diamond League series. Now, it comes to London on Saturday, the 18th of July. And I can also tell you that a bit of breaking news as we are recording. It's been announced that the Doha Diamond League meeting has been postponed and will now take place at the Khalifa International Stadium, we hope, on the 19th of June. So, John, you missed out on tickets for the LA Olympics. I've already had confirmation that I've got a pass for the London Diamond League, so I'll be there. LA Olympics, you might not be.
No, I might not be, but I might have to go and buy some tickets, maybe for the London Diamond League, Glasgow 2024, we heard from Nile earlier, 2026 even, get the right year. I need to work out where my multi-sport event is coming, but the good news is we are coming to the European Athletics Championships. Team Cushing will be there for the European Athletics Championships in Birmingham, so can't wait for that this summer, as Michael said earlier. Huge summer to come. We will be here with Anything But Footy with all the very latest. You can check out our socials for the latest news too, our New Look website and Spotify as well. You can always comment, and we'd love to hear from you on whether you got your tickets or not for LA. This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic sport podcast. We're gearing up for Glasgow, and we're still looking ahead to LA.